I'm not going out there to survive anything. I'm going out there to hunt. I'm a hunter, I'm not a survivor. I'm going out there to flourish from the first second to the last. I'm there to win in the most spectacular fashion possible. The whole world's excited for this fight.
You have winning Khamzat or DDP? DTP?
Khamzat.
Interesting.
I got Khamzat winning.
Interesting.
I give him all the respect. Look, he's so good at what he does, no matter what. And I've said, what did I say before? He's the best fighter in the world. But somehow he makes it look good.
DDP, dude, when he beat Robert Whittaker, I'm like, dude, I'm never gonna count this dude out again. That trend is kind of there right now. Rob's kind of like the same way.
Rob strikes better.
For sure. But it's the mixing of the fight.
Yeah, mixing it up. It happens in MMA. There's always phases. Like there was a phase where the strikers were on top.
With just a couple of days left in UFC 319, Dricus Du Plessis has given some brutal warnings to Khamzat Chimaev. The current champ DDP made it clear that he planned to take control of the fight from the opening bell. He said his focus was on dominating and creating moments that fans would remember, aiming to put on a performance that left no doubt about his victory.
I'm not going out there to survive anything. I'm going out there to hunt. I'm a hunter, I'm not a survivor. I'm going out there to flourish from the first second to the last. I'm there to win in the most spectacular fashion possible. The whole world's excited for this fight because it's truly the two best guys fighting each other. Everybody knows Khamzat is the best next guy. I just know that I am the best.
Dricus Du Plessis says he's never prepared harder for a fight than he has for UFC 319. He explains that his motivation comes from defending his belt and proving a point, while recognizing Khamzat Chimaev as the toughest opponent of his career.
I can 100% certainly say that I have never put in the work that I've put in for this fight. And because, firstly, I need to defend this belt. And secondly, I need to prove a point in this fight, and I do know that I'm fighting the best fighter that I've ever fought in Khamzat Chimaev.
Dricus Du Plessis also jokes about his unpredictability, saying even he doesn't know what he'll do in the fight, joking it could be DDP by accident or a DDP by falling piano. He adds that while many believe Khamzat Chimaev should beat him on paper, he can't be sure since he can't even read.
Dricus, be honest with me. How do you beat Khamzat Chimaev?
Man, I've got plot armor.
You've got plot armor?
Bro, how do you prepare for me? I don't even know what I'm going to do.
You don't know what you're going to do in the octagon.
It could be DDP by accident, DDP by falling piano. Maybe I draw a hole in the middle of the octagon, he falls through it.
A hole in the middle?
Absolutely. Maybe I blow up my thumb, hit him with it. I can win by a car crash. I'm a large hammer. That will be there. That would be in the corner. Another DDP might just come into the octagon.
Yeah, that could happen.
Everybody says on paper, Khamzat beats me. How do I know? I can't even read.
You can't read?
Nah. But at the end of the day, my friend, it's DDP by whatever works.
Furthermore, Dricus Du Plessis also talked about the face-off and said the upcoming face-off with Khamzat Chimaev would be unlike anything else this year in MMA. He explained that while he often pictures it in his mind, nothing truly matches the intensity of standing in the cage, waiting for the fight to begin. For him, that stare down is both thrilling and fear-inducing, a feeling he compared to nothing else he's experienced.
I don't think there has been a bigger moment in MMA this year than there's going to be when, you know, Bruce Buffer does the announcements and they're, you know, fighter, are you ready? Fighter, are you ready? And the two of you are just staring each other down. Like, have you visualized that yet, or are you just waiting for that exact moment?
Absolutely. I visualize it every single time. Look, I'm getting goosebumps as I said it. I just visualized it again. Every fight I visualize it. But yeah, you can visualize all you want when you get in there. I can't wait for that moment. You know, it's the most terrifying moment on earth. I've done some crazy stuff in my life. There is no moment as terrifying as that.
Dricus Du Plessis claims that Khamzat Chimaev is concerned about his cardio ahead of UFC 319. He points out that they entered the UFC at the same time, yet he's already on his third title defense while Chimaev is fighting for his first. Du Plessis stresses that experience makes a difference and suggests Chimaev knows he has struggled to maintain his preferred pace past the third round. He explains that training is not the same as fighting, and in a real bout, the question of lasting 5 rounds can plant doubt.
We entered the UFC at the same time.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm on my third title defense. He's fighting for his first title. It's there's you know, experience plays its role. Being there 5 rounds. Don't tell me Khamzat is not going and saying, yeah, I kill everybody, I smash everybody. Great. You know in your head, you know you haven't been able to fight the pace you want to once the third round comes. Now you know you have to fight that 5th round. Now you know, doing it in training is completely different. Now you're in a fight, you know, what do I do if this goes for 5 rounds?
Dricus Du Plessis points to Khamzat Chimaev's fight with Robert Whittaker as proof that Chimaev won't maintain a relentless pace. He says Chimaev opted for speed early, which reinforces the idea that doubt lingers in his mind. Du Plessis contrasts that with his own track record, noting he has pushed a high pace from start to finish in multiple fights, winning a decision in one, and securing a 4th-round finish against Israel Adesanya in another. He insists he knows he can keep that pressure going for all 5 rounds if needed.
But we saw with the Whittaker fight, he's not going to do that. He went out there full speed once again. So in his mind, he has the doubt. I don't have that doubt because I went in there, went full speed with Strickland the first fight and the second fight, one decision. The same thing with Adesanya. Got that 4th round finish. I know I can go in there and push the pace for 5 rounds if I have to.
DDP's friend Mark Hume expressed strong confidence in Dricus Du Plessis, saying his current momentum made him dangerous for anyone in the division. He noted that Du Plessis had built a habit of proving doubters wrong and believed this fight would be no different. Hume hinted that overlooking him could backfire badly for those expecting Chimaev to win.
Let me tell you, that man is on a roll, bro. When he says you're going to be surprised, I believe you're going to be surprised.
What do you think of sort of the narratives of people maybe overlooking Dricus a little bit in this fight just because of what Chimaev's done?
Yeah, to that I would say be careful what you think, in the sense of, I mean, Dricus has not lost in the UFC once, right? He's not lost once. Every single time he's been the underdog. You know how much money people have made on Dricus Du Plessis. So I mean, if people want to be stupid and put their money on a Chechnyan whore, then do it. I'm gonna laugh at you afterwards.
UFC legend Georges St. Pierre acknowledged that both Dricus Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev brought dangerous skill sets to the cage. He said each fighter was capable of surprising the other, whether on the feet or on the ground, and that this matchup went far beyond the usual striker versus grappler narrative. In his view, either man could end the fight with a single decisive moment.
But I don't underestimate Dricus Du Plessis wrestling. I think he's very strong. I think he did judo before. He's got a strong base. So, and Chimaev, I don't underestimate his striking either, because Chimaev have a very good striking. So they both can win in very unexpected ways. You know, people has a tendency to say, "Oh, this guy is a grappler, this guy is a striker." That's not what this fight is. This fight are 2 athletes, very well-rounded, that gonna fight each other. Of course, they have specialty, especially in Chimaev's case. He's very good in wrestling and submission as well, but they both can knock each other out.
Georges St. Pierre felt the fight could swing in either direction depending on how it unfolded. He said Khamzat Chimaev had the tools to overwhelm Dricus Du Plessis early if he stayed composed, but warned that an exhausting pace could turn the tie. In his view, if Du Plessis endured the opening storm, he might take over and secure a late finish.
I think this, George. Let me tell you what I think. If Chimaev controls his emotions, he's gonna win.
Could be, because emotion sometimes makes you spend too much energy. But on the other side, it's true, but Dricus Du Plessis, I think he's very underrated. He's much better than what people give him credit for. So it could go both sides. You know, Chimaev can go through, especially if he catch him with his very good inverted katagatame early on in the round. If he put him down and in a scramble, when Dricus Du Plessis tried to stand up, he got caught in an inverted katagatame. I can see that happen, but I can also see Dricus wearing down Chimaev and surviving, and in the later round winning the fight. So both scenarios are possible.
Georges St. Pierre explained that physical strength came in different forms. He felt Khamzat Chimaev's power was better suited for explosive wrestling and driving through takedowns, while Dricus Du Plessis might be stronger in close contact situations that require heavy pushing, pulling, or lifting.
Especially in Chimaev's case, he's very good in wrestling and submission as well, but they both can knock each other out.
I'm gonna ask you another impossible question. Who's physically stronger, Chimaev or DDP?
I think strength is very it's very specialized. I think in terms of wrestling, takedown, driving, strength could be Chimaev, but I think if they lock body to body, I think could be DDP. You know, pushing, pulling, like more lifting, strength. I think it could be DDP. I think more applicable, like for wrestling strength, it could be Chimaev.
Former heavyweight champion John Jones said he admired Khamzat Chimaev not just for his fighting skills, but also for the respect he had shown outside the cage. While he planned to watch the matchup with Dricus Du Plessis, he made it clear he wasn't taking sides, instead hoping the bout showcased high-level martial arts and that both men continued to thrive in their careers.
Khamzat Chimaev said that you are the scariest guy in MMA.
That's a huge compliment coming from Khamzat. I'm a big fan of Khamzat. I don't think he has any reason to toot my horn or to even be humble. He doesn't have to be. I mean, heavyweights fear him, and the fact that he has so much respect for me really means a lot. It shows me a lot about his character, his humility to be able to compliment someone in such a huge way. So I'm very grateful and honored.
Will you watch his fight against DDP?
Absolutely. I absolutely watch his fight. I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm just a big fan of martial arts. I want to see them both go on and have long, prosperous MMA careers. I will watch the fight for sure.
But you cannot say who is the favorite, right?
No, I don't really have a favorite. You know, I just enjoy the sport. You know, may the best man win. I hope they both have great careers.
Tom Aspinall also admitted that Dricus Du Plessis continued to surprise him every time he fought, making it hard to ever count him out. He also described Khamzat Chimaev as a relentless threat who could overwhelm opponents with pressure and constant attacks. For Aspinall, the uncertainty of how this fight might unfold was exactly what made it so exciting.
DDP, I've got no idea. The more I watch him, the less I know about him.
It is super interesting, but Tom, how do you see the fight going? Who wins?
I will never, ever think that DDP is going to lose again. Wow. I just don't know. He just finds a way to win. Against Khamzat Chimaev, though, someone that I've shared a card with a couple of times, in Abu Dhabi, funny enough. Khamzat Chimaev is an absolute beast, man. And if he can get that back control and start that cycle that he does, of dragging guys to the ground, going for the submissions, punching them from there, punishing them, tiring them out. So, mate, the answer is, I don't know. That's why we love MMA, though. That's why we love it, because fights like this, they come around every now and again, and you just don't know.
Featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski said Khamzat Chimaev's ground game was on another level and believed it was still underrated by many fans. He felt that in a short burst, with just one round to showcase his skills, Chimaev could outshine anyone in MMA when it came to grappling and wrestling.
But I'm going to tell you how good Chimaev is. I don't think people know he's a good grappler and be like, oh, hey, he's cool. But when it comes to MMA, grappling, wrestling, I could say he would probably be, if you had one round to prove yourself, Chimaev. Hands down, I've got Chimaev.
On the other hand, Rampage Jackson is very confident that Khamzat Chimaev will beat Dricus Du Plessis at UFC 319.
You have winning Khamzat or DDP? DDP.
Khamzat. I got Khamzat winning.
Interesting.
Rampage Jackson said Khamzat Chimaev left a strong impression during his time at the gym, showing the kind of dominance that set him apart from most fighters. He recalled seeing Chimaev handle training partners with ease and believed that level of intensity made him one of the best to come through their doors.
One person who's training inside the gym is Khamzat Chimaev. Compared to all the bodies you've seen come through the gym, where does he stack up?
Man, he's one of the best. You know, we had Khalil Browntree coming there. He's a beast as well. You got what's his name? In Lukin. What's his name? Arman and Lukin.
Arman Sarukian.
God damn it, I mess up everybody's name. Arman Sarukian.
Sarukian.
Yeah, he's a beast too. Yeah, but Khamzat, man, he a beast, man. I saw him for a couple of seconds over there, man. He was murking people. He's a beast, bro.
Rampage Jackson described Khamzat Chimaev as a unique challenge, different from the typical fighters he had seen. He compared Chimaev's non-stop drive and training to Michael Bisping's, saying both shared a rare willingness to push beyond their limits.
Who do you compare that to? You fought the who's who. You've been inside the octagon with John Jones. Who does Khamzat Chimaev remind you of, if anybody at all?
No, he don't. No, he's a different animal. But his work ethic reminds me of Michael Bisping, though. Yeah, Michael Bisping was always an animal in the gym. That's why I love training with that kid.
Sean O'Malley also called the clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis one of the most thrilling fights on the horizon. After rewatching Du Plessis' bout with Israel Adesanya, he was impressed by how much composed and effective DDP looked for the majority of the contest. While he thought a rematch with Adesanya would be compelling, O'Malley said his attention was firmly on seeing how Du Plessis matches up against Chimaev.
DDP versus Khamzat. What is that, like 2-3 weeks? Like, holy. I just actually watched DDP versus Israel this morning before practice. And dude, Izzy was looking so good in that fight. Like, I remember watching it and thinking, like, I only had rewatched it just this one time, but watching it live, I remember thinking like Izzy looked good, and I kind of, for the most part, dominating the fight. And then that fourth round just kind of got hit up top on the head and just, you know, went downhill real fast from there. But God, Izzy was looking good in that fight. So I'd like to see Izzy come back. Izzy versus Sean too would be sweet. But yeah, Khamzat versus DDP is very exciting for me right now.
Meanwhile, Michael Venom Page admitted he struggled to make sense of Dricus Du Plessis' rise, saying his approach often looked chaotic yet somehow kept producing results. He said that in the past he would have confidently chosen Khamzat Chimaev to win, but Du Plessis' track record had made the outcome much harder to call.
I genuinely don't understand why DDP keeps winning, because he's got such a kind of almost messy, he's like a super talented amateur fighter. And I can see like aspects of his technical ability, but it seems messy. Like, it's not a style that is appealing to me, but he just seems to know how to get the win and know how to kind of push through. In all honesty, if this fight came up before, I'd be like, Khamzat, yeah, no, I'd just pick that, no issues. But DDP just knows how to keep grinding out a win. So for me, it's a hard one to even pick.
Corey Brundage believes that Dricus Du Plessis had repeatedly proved him wrong by winning in dominant fashion against fighters he initially thought would beat him. He noted that both Du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev had a habit of imposing their will on opponents. And he dismissed concerns about Chimaev's stamina by reminding people of his strong showing over 3 rounds against Kamaru Usman.
So do you burn or chill Khamzat beating Dricus Du Plessis?
Bro, that's a good one. Because, you know, every fight, I'm like, DDP is not winning this fight. There's no way. And he wins. And he not only does he win, he really dominates, bro. There haven't been many fights he's had that I felt like were very close, except for maybe his first Sean Strickland fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, bro, he's really run through pretty much everybody. And he's big for the weight. But Khamzat also has run through everybody. And everybody's hating on his cardio, but like, bro, he's a savage. He went the distance with Kamaru, and yeah, it was only 3 rounds, but Kamaru, like, people were saying it was the greatest welterweight of all time. You know, so I know he lost a couple fights. People forget that shit, but in the moment, it was like, bro, this guy is an animal that he's fighting.
Yeah.
Corey Brundage leaned toward Khamzat Chimaev, saying his ability to physically control opponents was on another level once he got a grip. He mentioned seeing Chimaev handle elite wrestlers in training and felt that same pressure could overwhelm most fighters. Even so, he acknowledged that Dricus Du Plessis had a knack for defying expectations.
He sat there and traded. It wasn't like he tried to grapple. I mean, outside of the first round, he really sat there and traded, and his pressure is underrated too.
Yeah.
I'm curious
on
to
the
see
ground,
Dricus on that.
On the ground though? Oh my god.
Not even on the ground, like standing too. His constant pressure.
Yeah. Well, I think Dricus is gonna have to. So if I'm Khamzat, I'm coming out striking early. I'm gonna test his wrestling, and then the whole fight though, he's got to worry about the wrestling, right? So the striking becomes way easier, and then the pressure becomes way easier.
Moreover, Kamaru Usman warned that overlooking Khamzat Chimaev was a mistake others had already paid for. He said Chimaev's mix of strength and skill made him a serious threat at middleweight, capable of seizing the title before the division had time to adjust.
At 185, listen, I told you guys, don't sleep on Khamzat. When he was fighting Robert Whittaker, everyone said, oh yeah, Whittaker's gonna get him. Hey, don't sleep on him. Khamzat's extremely talented, extremely strong. He can shock anyone.
Kamaru Usman spoke highly of Dricus Du Plessis, crediting him for the perseverance and challenges he faced on his way to becoming champion. He said, true champions earn respect through the obstacles they overcome, and this matchup was as much about recognizing that spirit as it was about the spectacle.
Dricus Du Plessis, you can't sleep on him as well. He's the champion for a reason, taking out 3 champions back to back to back. So, hey, respect to all those guys. I respect every one of these fighters. You know, I know people at home were spectators and were fans, and they like to just kind of talk. Oh, he had a bad performance. He had a boring one. But hey, you have to respect each and every one of these guys that's willing to get in here, you know, in little bitty gloves and damn near underwear and bare their soul in here. So you have to respect that.
Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan spoke with confidence about Khamzat Chimaev's chances, saying he had been sharp, focused, and full of energy throughout the entire camp. Training alongside him, Arman felt the preparation had been nearly perfect, with Khamzat showing improvement in both wrestling and striking. He said he was happy to step in wherever needed during drills or sparring because he genuinely wanted to see Chimaev achieve his dream of becoming UFC champion.
Hello everybody, I'm Arman Tsarukyan. We have a training camp with Khamzat Chimaev. He's getting ready for his title fight. He looks sharp, so excited for him and to see him UFC champion. So far his camp going well, he's healthy, he has a lot of energy, and I'm just here to help him whatever they need. If they need the wrestling, I'll wrestle. If they need the striking, I'll strike. So I'm here to help, and I want him to be a UFC champion.
Arman Tsarukyan pointed out that in the past, Khamzat Chimaev had a tendency to push himself so hard in camp that he would enter fights without being fully recovered. He said this issue was now being addressed with the help of a coach who tracks Khamzat's daily recovery using specialized equipment, allowing them to adjust training intensity and keep him fresh for fight night.
Выходит на пик, так как он любит очень много тренироваться, его на тренировках надо останавливать. Он, допустим, поспарринговал, идет там мешок бьет, потом лапу бьет, потом пойдет штангу покачается. То есть он из тех парней, которого нужно остановить и сказать: все, Хамзат, порастягивайся и уходи. Его проверяют каждый день, его восстановление, он встает, и есть монитор, где показывают его восстановление каждое утро, и если он находится в яме, то из ямы вытаскивают, дают больше отдохнуть, и чтобы он был свеж и мог выполнить, потому что ты, если придешь перетренированный на спарринг, ты не сможешь отработать. И из-за этого вот этого парня нужен человек, который будет 24/7 контролировать его и останавливать, чтобы он не перетренировался.
And that wraps up today's video, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis promise an epic showdown, and the fans can't wait to witness it. So share your final predictions about this matchup in the comment section below, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos.